Hit me.
From Studio A in Arcata, behind the redwood curtain, it's time for...
Succotash.
Yes, Succotash, the comedy soundcast featuring snippets from comedy.
Soundcast.
And also interviews with comedians, comedian soundcasters, and other showbiz folk. And now, here's this episode's host from up the coast, the man who puts the X in Xbox and the tie on antisocial, comedy soundcaster, Tyson Saner.
Saluton, estas me, Tyson Saner. I am your host for the duration of this episode of Succotash numbering 273. Last week in Epi273, my co-host and every other show host Marc Hershon brought the listener, which may or may not have included you, a chats episode where he sat down to talk with John Ross Bowie of The Big Bang Theory, Speechless, and the Household Faces podcast, and as Mark put it, literally dozens and dozens of things. It's a fun interview, and I urge you to check it out soon. This week, it's a clips show for you, so I've got a trio of clips for you from the Soundcast's amazing pop culture podcast, Life is Short with Justin Long, and WTF with Mark Maron. I've also got a classic advert from our longtime fake sponsor, Henderson's Pants, for you to round out the episode nicely. Let's get to the clips. First up, Amazing Pop Culture Podcast, formerly known as Amish Baby Machine. Its description says, "This is an amazing pop culture podcast providing expert commentary on comedy, music, movies, TV, news, history, and everything in between. Hang out with host Dags and assistant manager Mike Resin and enjoy childish comedy and lighthearted fun." This clip is from the August 2nd episode called Masters of the Universe, the Kevin Smith cut. And the description of the episode says, "On this episode, the 2021 animated series Masters of the Universe, Revelation, the sequel to the original series He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, developed by Kevin Smith, is reviewed along with Saturday morning cartoons, 1980 Thundar the Barbarian, and 1967 The Herculoids, and new music by synthwave musician Andrew Benon. The clip I've selected has to do with the Herculoids.
Hi, Perez, let's get into 1967, The Herculoids.
The Herculoids. Man, when you sent this to me, I got to admit, not only did I forget about them, I never knew about them. So I looked them up.
No, that's good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I like this powerful, amazing pop culture podcast. What I do, I use my powerful brain and I just spread it.
Oh, you
spread it all over the world. I'm
yes.
like Johnny Appleseed of knowledge.
Oh, your seed is spread everywhere. I know it.
Thank you.
So September 9th, 1967, the Herculoids debuted on CBS. That's how old CBS is. And they had 18 episodes. And it lasted for a couple of seasons. It seems like a lot of cartoons back then only lasted 2-3 seasons at the most. And then it went straight to reruns after
Anything good doesn't last.
No, not at all.
Life is just a party, and parties weren't meant to last.
Whoa, you should write that down.
Yes.
So the Herculoids is about a family, Xandar, and also Tara and Dorno. Dorno is the son. Tara is
Powerful
Xandar's
names.
wife.
Yes.
And they were accompanied by 5 creatures.
Yes. They're pets.
They're Herculoids.
They're giant pets, yes.
Yeah. Is it Zoke or Zook?
Zoc.
Zoc. So
Tundro.
even...
And a powerful rock ape.
Igu?
Igu.
Yeah.
Powerful. They're just your average space barbarian family.
Just your average space barbarian. That's another thing. There was a lot of like futuristic barbarian cartoons.
Well, that's the reason I brought this in. I brought in, everyone talks, oh, He-Man.
But there were a couple more.
Yeah, 1967, we're talking barbarians.
Yeah, and that was, what do they call, ahead of their time.
Yes, visionary.
Yeah, so that's, I watched the, what do you call it, the intro?
Sure.
On YouTube, and I got to admit, it probably wouldn't be a cartoon I would have probably really gotten into. I probably would have just watched it because when I was a kid, I just watched cartoons.
Why would you not have gotten into that? I loved it.
I don't know. And it's Hanna-Barbera, which,
yes.
Shocking. They did everything back then. I watched the Flintstones, and you can tell that it's probably the same animators that animated both. Just looking at the title, the fonts that were used back then. You know, it's not too far off from the Flintstones font, but the only difference on those shows really were the writers. But you pretty much had the same animators working in the same house. As I got into this research, they are actually been around in pop culture quite a bit. They're still making cameos on shows. Most recently, they made a cameo on The Family Guy. Gleep and Gloop.
Gloop and Gleep.
Yeah, they
powerful.
They actually, I think they destroyed part of Peter Griffin's house or something.
Yes, they're
like
protoplasmic
that.
creatures.
Yeah, so they've been around quite a bit. They've been in a couple episodes of Space Ghost. They've been in some other cartoons. I can't remember the name of the.
Tell me you know about Space Ghost.
Oh, I know Space Ghost.
All right.
Yeah, there is a cartoon. I can't remember who it was, but they were reading like fan mail, and whoever created this cartoon, you could tell, I guess, was not a fan of the Herculoids because they made fun of them being hippies and how they avoided the draft in Vietnam. It was just like really got really
What is
weird
this
and political.
sacrilege?
I don't know.
Blasphemy.
Yes, not everybody was a fan, but
I'm a fan.
You're a fan. That's
You
all
got
that
a
matters.
bat-winged laser dragon. You have a rock ape. You have a 10-legged, 4-horned rhinoceros / triceratops / Guns N' Roses hybrid.
Then you got a couple of ghost-looking dudes.
Yes. Gloop and Gleep.
Yeah, father and son.
Yes, they can absorb, deflect energy blast.
One of them turned into a parachute to save one of them
Yes.
lives.
Yes, you know about the Wonder Twins.
Yep.
Yeah, but these guys did it before, man. They're becoming cushions, trampolines, parachutes. God. The Herculoids.
It got a 7.4 out of 10 on IMDb. Internet Movie Database.
Yeah, I know what that is. It should be a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, but some of our amazing friends.
They all know. They're amazing.
Yeah, well, considering...
They're our friends.
Compared to one of the other shows we're going to talk about, that's actually really high.
It is. Those ratings are bullshit anyway. And we'll get into that. Ratings of critics who get paid versus real people, real fans.
Do you go more by the Rotten Tomato score? Because those are, I think fans can do reviews on that as well. So that's...
Well, there's two different things. You know, there's the two scores on Rotten Tomatoes, the high and the low. The first one is the critics, and the low one is usually the fans.
Yeah. It's certified fresh.
Yes.
I think this is certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes as well.
And I'm going to need you guys to check out the Herculoids. Powerful.
Watch the intro.
Yes.
Because a lot of things that I don't think I remember or ever watched, you watch the intros, and you're like, oh, fuck yeah, I watched that. I remember that.
You can find the show on Twitter at Amazing Pop Pod. That is capital AMAZING, capital POP, capital POD. The hosts do not appear to be on Twitter, as much as I could find. I did look for them. I always look for people on Twitter. But synthwave musician Andrew Benone, I hope I'm saying that correctly because I don't remember how they pronounced it in the episode, at all lowercase ANDREWBENON. And the Amazing Pop Culture Podcast can be found online. On iTunes, it links to their website, is being listed as AmishBabyMachine.podbean.com. In case you'd like that spelled, it's AmishBabyMachine.podbean.com. Next up tonight, Life is Short with Justin Long from Wondery. Apparently, new episodes come out every Tuesday. Pretty cool. So the description of the show is it just me or is time flying by? How do we make the most out of our short time here on Earth? That's what we're here to find out. I'm Justin Long, and I've been an actor for most of my life, so I'm used to getting inside the heads of the characters I play. But now that I'm getting older, I'm 43 now, yikes. I want to peek inside the heads of real people to learn how they find meaning in life. I'm also very curious what their favorite snack food is and what emoji they use most often. You know, the really important stuff. Every episode will get personal with all kinds of people, from actors to musicians to deep thinkers who fascinate me. My brother Christian is on hand each episode to keep me honest and occasionally remind me about some of the embarrassing things I've done over the years. Join us, or if you have more important things to do, that's okay too. Life is short. Indeed. So the clip I've selected is from the November 5th episode from 2019, some time ago. It is an interview with Kevin Smith, filmmaker and whatnot, who's listed here specifically as having the credits Jay and Silent Bob Reboot and Clerks. I like that they led with Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. That's funny. I believe it's because it was the most recent thing, but Clerks is undoubtedly the most well-known. I could be wrong. Anyway, it says, Kevin Smith and Justin swap stories from Tusk, Zack and Miri Make a Porno, and all the other projects they've worked on together. And Kevin talks about how his Catholic upbringing was a gateway to his worship of superheroes.
It's not only just, I was going to say this generation, but I don't think it's this generation. It's this modern world.
No, yeah.
We make things so tailor-made. The direct consumer is all about, we got to get them where they live. So let's create something where they can just order something from a convenience store and somebody will drop it off to them.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to leave their house. They want to isolate and shit. They want to be able to drive but not drive, but they don't want to take a cab because, I don't know, fucking who wants to call a cab, but they will use an app to like get somebody who's not a licensed driver to come pick them up and shit. Like, technology is kind of, and this is not a complaint. I'm not like, this is not me pointing something out and saying this is broken, needs to be fixed. But my observation is technology has completely infantilized us to the point, in the modern world, not just technology, to the point where we have these incredible expectations of what is and how life is supposed to be. That's why you have like, you know, a petition with over 1 million signatures or whatever the fuck of a bunch of people telling HBO, you have to redo season 8 of Game of Thrones because we didn't like it.
Oh my God.
I mean, think about it. Like, this is a culture of like, if you don't like it, we'll change it. They put up a trailer for fucking a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, and people were so outraged by the CGI character's mouth, that the filmmaker has since apologized, taken the movie down, and said that they're going to delay the movie until 2020 in order to fix what everybody doesn't like.
Oh my God.
And now, you know, I'm not saying that's wrong. I'm not pointing this out and saying, can you believe this fucking where we are? But I get how it happens. You got a bunch of people, Sonic costs an ungodly amount of money, and whoever's making Sonic is like, well, the people who are going to want to see this movie think the mouth is stupid, so let's fucking fix the mouth.
Makes sense. It's sort of like free test marketing.
It absolutely makes sense. But it enables the audience, or us, human beings, one more example of like, you know, life could be exact. Life
I can tailor it
exactly as I want it.
Yes. Easy. It's ease.
And that's, you can get your life to a place where you're comfortable and like where pretty much what you wanted. If you're lucky, that should be the goal in life. It shouldn't be like get to the top of the mountain. It should be like fashion a life for yourself that is exactly in the world around you, exactly as you want it to be. May you realize your divinity in this lifetime. You are God. Shape your universe. Now that's yours. Problem is, people shape their universes and then they expect the rest of the universe
to go along, to acquiesce. Yeah.
But it's like, guess what? If everybody's shaping their own fucking universes, some of those are going to line up as like, adjacent universes.
Yeah.
And some are going to be parallel opposite to everything that you stand for and believe in. But you want that, right? You want everyone. I mean, as Americans, don't we want everybody the freedom to choose who they want to be and what they want to do, so long as it doesn't fucking hurt anybody or something?
Right, but that's not the case anymore. We live in these filter bubbles now where people aren't allowed in. And
isn't that the way the whole world is going now? Like, we were filter bubbling before, you know, everyone's like, oh, this country's divided. But
you saw it early on the internet.
Yeah.
I mean, you were one of and we were talking about this before. You entered into that world.
1995.
95, but then you became you had said to me, I said, what's the appeal of, you know, inserting yourself into that world and like being active online? And you said which is interesting, you wanted to know the people that were going to see your movies. You wanted to know why. You wanted to engage with them.
I wanted to be able to talk to the people that bought a ticket. The only way you knew how you were doing in your film career back then was like the reviews, the critics. But that's only a select sampling of people who didn't pay to see the movie. They saw it for free. And this is not me bagging on critics. I'm just saying that's an unreliable metric for me. Yeah. And then the other metric is box office, which also is also it's some metric, but also an unreliable metric. I wanted to be able to talk to the individuals who bought tickets to be like, you know, I used to do that, and I still do that for other people's movies, and I know how hard it is to make money, and I know how hard it is to budget. And then if you're leaving aside money for your own entertainment, you're going to be choosy with what you do. It's a Friday night. You can only see one movie and shit. And you picked mine. why the fuck did you do that? And I think I might want to know you because
interesting.
We're like-minded.
And you were talking about that void that fills. You mentioned like you when you're a kid and your parents put your artwork on the fridge.
Yeah.
How good that feels and how we're all still, I think about that a lot.
Looking for validation.
Yeah.
That's what everybody wants, man. Like at the end of the day, they want to be heard. That's what I think. I think people fundamentally need 3 things: food, fucking, and to be heard. They need to eat. They need to have fucking sex. And I'm not saying that's a basic right. I'm just saying that's what human beings fucking need. Yeah. And you can break that down to human contact or whatever, but I honestly think it's just flat out sex. They need someone else to come with. Like that keeps a person sane, whole, happy, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Well, Justin Long is on Twitter at all lowercase JUSTINLONG. Christian Long does not appear to be on Twitter. But is on Instagram at $72. That is all lowercase POODOLLAR, numeral 7, numeral 2. And Kevin Smith can be found on Twitter at @KevinSmith. That is capital THAT, capital KEVIN, capital SMITH. And the show's website is listed as Wondery.com, and then a couple other things. Wondery is Wonder, WONDER, then letter Y, Wondery.com. /shows/Justin-Long.
Ah, can you smell it, friends? Autumn is in the air, crisp and cool. The smell of wood smoke and the leaves turning and falling from the trees. In honor of the autumnal equinox, Henderson's Pants is pleased to introduce their new Autumn Leaf Behind Pants, working with the fine folks at Monsanto and the latest in chlorophyll technology. Henderson's has created a pair of trousers that literally change themselves. From the moment you slide your legs into your new Autumn Leaf Behind Pants, they begin a subtle but discernible shift in color. They start out as a pair of rather dull, run-of-the-mill tan chinos, but within hours you'll be delighted as they become more brilliantly hued in a spectrum of breathtaking colors. Greens, reds, yellows. It's like your very own legs were taking a drive through the fall splendor of Vermont. You'll want to pay close attention to your Autumn Leaf Behind Pants because within days of activation, they begin to crinkle, crumple, and drop off in leaf-shaped patches onto the floor, which is why they're named as they are. The Henderson's Leaf Behind Pants, once they'd fallen off completely, leaves you with nothing but your behind to show for it. Originally designed for romantic country drives, hay rides, and Helga Klontz, the Amish stripper, Henderson's Autumn Leaf Behind Pants can be found inside corn mazes and haunted houses. That's Henderson's, maker of baggy drawers and granny panties since 1841. And now, back to Succotash.
And thank you, Bill Haywatt. Finally tonight, WTF with Marc Maron podcast from Marc Maron. Here's a soundcast that has been around for quite a long time and has had many, many guests throughout the years, many amazing people. But in case you have never heard it before or have never looked it up before, that's what I'm for. That's my role here, so here's its description. Marc Maron welcomes comedians, actors, directors, writers, authors, musicians, and folks from all walks of life to his home for amazingly revealed conversations. Marc's probing, comprehensive interview style allows guests to express themselves in ways listeners have never heard. So the clip I've selected is from a show earlier this year. March 8th, 2021 is when it posted, and it is an interview with comedian and movie star father Eddie Murphy, one of my all-time favorites. Now, into the description it says, Eddie Murphy talks with Marc about his stand-up days, Richard Pryor, his movie career, fatherhood, and why now was the right time to make Coming to America. That is, Coming to, in this case, is the numeral 2, because it is the sequel to Coming to America, 2 spelled correctly in that case. There is a great segment in the episode where he talks about his friendship with Dick Cavett. Friendship, relationship, his, I don't know what you would call it, his, you could say relationship, that's not inflammatory, with Dick Cavett, the interviewer, who has interviewed also a great deal of interesting people. many of which you can see those on YouTube. But I don't have a clip of Dick Cavett right now. What I have for you is basically just the intro of the interview with Eddie Murphy, where interviewer Marc Maron relates to Eddie as a comedian.
What's going on, Mark?
How you doing, Eddie?
I'm good, man. How you?
I'm okay, man. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, same here.
I've noticed in some of your other interviews that the candles were lit behind you, but I guess not today. It's okay.
Did you turn the candles on? He made mention of it. He said, "I noticed the candles were lit in the other."
I don't need the candles. I don't need them. It's not video.
No, now you're gonna put them on. Now we have to put them on. Because if you didn't want them, you wouldn't have said anything.
I just didn't know if they were real. Someone said that they were like a light, but it's a real candle, huh?
Yeah, they just burnt down really low.
Isn't that petty of me? I'm like, hey, I saw you on Fallon and the candles were lit. What the fuck is that about?
Were lit.
What am I? Nothing?
Then you I don't even get a candle?
Where's my fucking
What's
candle?
With the dry candles? What's with the dry candles back? So we're going to make it nice for you, Mark.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Two more?
Two more.
Do you have what kind of, where are you sitting? Do you have a steakhouse at your place?
Nah, he just asked me. He said, "Where are you sitting? Do you have a steakhouse at your place?" No, this is the lounge. There's a bowling alley here, not a steakhouse.
Really?
And this is the lounge right by the bowling alley. So it's booths and stuff.
Oh, how many lanes you got?
Two lanes.
Open to the public or just private or?
Nah, it's all private.
Do you have to rent shoes over there? What do you got going up?
The shoes come complimentary with your steak.
How you feeling? What's going on with the? How much material did you have in place before you had to put the kibosh on that tour you were going to do?
How much material?
I mean, were you working shit out or what?
But we have to use the word material loosely because it's not like I write. They have a conversation, you say something funny, that you was working out, just go try it out at the club. Yeah. Well, now I'll just, if when that happens, I just say it in the phone. Yeah. And I have, so I probably got, 2-3 hours of, 1, 2, 3 line premises I have to give some structure to.
I don't want to be presumptuous. I think you should just release those phone memos. I mean, I think that just have you going, is dogs and you know what I'm saying.
Dogs and mayonnaise. You'd be like, what the fuck is this dogs and mayonnaise bit going to be?
You ever get so far away from those notes where you don't even know what the fuck you were talking about?
Oh, yeah, when you find them, what the fuck, the perfect example is mayonnaise. That's 5 years later, I found something that said mayonnaise. Like, what the fuck was mayonnaise?
It was important at the moment.
Yeah, it was going to kill. It was going to be my killer bit back then. To the point where you wrote it down.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I do that too. I just make the outlines. I don't write the jokes. I just do the trigger words, the button words. And now, oh, okay, I'm going to remember that.
That's from doing stand-up for years and years and years.
Well, yeah, but that's always how I did it. I was sorry to hear about Richie. I don't know how close you guys were, but I was sorry to hear about that.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that the other day. Yeah, man. He's part of my, my history, Richie.
For sure. Yeah, right? He was all... Do you remember meeting that guy?
Oh, yeah. I remember, back in the early 80s, the late 70s, the comic strip.
So you grew up where?
I grew up, I was born in Brooklyn, lived in Brooklyn until I was 11. Then I moved out to Long Island, Roosevelt, Long Island.
So what was the deal out there? I mean, were you when did you start getting involved with, knowing that the comedy was the thing?
Comedy wasn't a thing back then. It wasn't no thing. It was like in New York you had Catch a Rising Star, the Improv, and the comic strip. And that was in the city. Yeah. Out on Long Island, you didn't have nothing. It was no comedy clubs. There was one club called, remember a dude back in the 70s, this Richard Nixon lookalike named Richard M. Dixon? It was a guy, he had a comedy club on Long Island. It was Richard M. Dixon's White House Inn. And on Wednesday nights, he would have comedy nights. And I started working out there.
You did?
When I was about 16, yeah.
And that was the only joint? Governors wasn't there yet? Where the hell was...
There was no Governors. There was none of it. There was no East Side Comedy Club. None of that stuff was out there yet.
Man, I remember going to Governors. The last time I played Governors, you could still smoke in there.
Yeah, I never played Governor. What was the other one, too? Was a rock place we used to play. My father's place. You know that place?
Yeah, I know.
Spyrogyra was there every week.
They had their time.
Right, so you can find the show at WTF Pod on Twitter. That is capital W, capital T, capital F, lowercase Pod. Eddie Murphy is not currently on Twitter as of this recording, as far as I know. When he was, it was all lowercase Eddie Murphy, EDDIEMURPHY. And you can find some of his music on SoundCloud, which is at soundcloud.com, and then look up Eddie Murphy Music. In fact, it might even autocomplete to that before you're done, but he has done some good stuff in the past. So, the host, Marc Hershon, can be reached on Twitter at all lowercase MARCMARON. And he does have a website for the show, which is WTFpod.com. And that's all lowercase, because I guess uppercase doesn't work in those HTTPs. And so the first episode of October comes to a close. I do hope you found some entertainment in what I brought to you, and I hope it also perhaps gave you one or two ideas as to what you might choose to listen to next. If we piqued your interest in the slightest, then we can safely put that one in the win column, as it were. Another thing before I go. There will be another episode of Antisocial Show coming out very soon. Perhaps it might even have been released before you heard me mention it several seconds ago. If it has been released by the time you hear episode 275, I will be sure to let you know. You can also look for it and other episodes of Antisocial Show on my SoundCloud, which can be found linked alongside many other links for the various things I am currently or have been involved in over the years at www.tysonsaner.com. It's TYSONSANER, including original music and podcast remixes, along with links to my YouTube channel where I offer loads of gaming content, mostly console, many retro, more Minecraft coming. I suppose that's more like a few other things rather than another thing, as previously stated, and for that I apologize. Thank you for listening. Be decent to each other. Please think of others when it comes to public health matters. And if anyone asks you if you heard anything interesting recently, won't you please pass a succotash?
You've been listening to Succotash, the comedy soundcast, with your host, Tyson Saner. Brought to you by Henderson's Pants and...
Imagine your company's name right here.
Rate us and review us at Apple and Google Podcasts. Find us on the web at succotashshow.com, on Spotify, on Stitcher, on iHeartRadio, on YouTube,
On SoundCloud.
and wherever fine soundcasts are streamed and or
downloaded.
Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Succotash Show. Like us on Facebook. Email us at tyson@succotashshow.com or call into the Succotash Skype line at our toll call number 818-921-7212.
That number again is 818-921-7212.
You can also upload clips from your favorite comedy soundcasts directly to us using our direct upload link at hightail.com/u/succotash. Succotash is produced and engineered by Joe Paulino through the auspices of Studio P Sausalito, the home of the hit. Our hosts are Marc Hershon and Tyson Saner. Our musical director is
Scott Carvey.
Our booth assistant is
Kenny Durges.
Succotash is executive produced by Marc Hershon. Until next time, I'm your loyal booth announcer, Bill Haywatt, reminding you to please pass the Succotash. Goodbye. This has been a Succotash Patch production.